gonna do, fiat dollar, on Crypto Bull God and his crypto maniacs and the entire cryptocurrency market run wild on you.
Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and in today's video, the family. This video is dedicated to my family who is in the market, and this family will be the cream of the crop, and we will be rising to the absolute top. Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is the recorded on Tuesday, airing on Tuesday, September 21st, 2021 Crypto Bull God Podcast. You can find me on Twitter, TradingView, YouTube, and Instagram at Crypto Bull God. You can find my brother on Twitter at Crypto Bringer. And you can find our podcast, our brotherly podcast, that we've just started, CryptoBroz, on YouTube and Podbean. More platforms to come on that one. RELAX. Relax. For all of those of you who are NFL fans, not too long ago, you'll know exactly where that's from. We're going to get into the market volatility. But before we get into some of that fun stuff, I did want to mention again that my brother and I've expressed so much excitement over this. We finally started our podcast, CryptoBroz. We're going to be bringing new episodes to you every 2 to 3 weeks, and we've sort of settled on Wednesday as our recording date. And I've left a link in the description for that YouTube channel. So just to start, I'm only going to be doing the first few episodes at my own personal YouTube channel at Crypto Bull God. But what we're going to do is, on a permanent basis moving forward, we're going to have that podcast, which is aimed at really trying to hone in on some of the fundamentals in the cryptocurrency space, express them in layman's terms. We're coming at it from two different angles, right? I'm more of a seasoned veteran. My brother's a lot more inexperienced. And so having those different frames of mind there, different mindsets, can really culminate into a finished, polished product that should be easily digestible for the user. So on an ongoing basis, what we will be doing is releasing the podcast on the CryptoBroz YouTube channel, Podbean, and then eventually the goal is by year end. By year end, I want to get on major platforms like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple as well, but I think Spotify is the main one I'm going to look for. So thank you to everyone who has tuned into that so far. Check it out if you haven't. One quick comment on that. The podcast did go a lot longer than we anticipated. In general, we're definitely aiming to keep it under an hour, but we were having so much fun. We talked about slicing it into 2 releases, but decided when I was editing it just to keep it at 1 episode. But there's no visuals, just listening, except for the epic intro. You can check out the epic intro, but I think for now it's going to be audio only. At some point we might do some visual, but sit back, chill, listen to some hopefully funny, comical things, as well as hopefully you can learn along the way. Something else that I wanted to thank everyone for was participating, for those of you who participated in Chartmania, which was last Thursday. So the podcast, pretty busy week last week. So the podcast was last Wednesday on September 16th. And then the following day, Chartmania, which I was advertising the hell out of. Chartmania was a live streaming charting event that I did on Thursday, the 17th. I think it was the 17th? Yes, the 17th. And I just want to thank everyone for showing up. I had a great time. Really appreciated the interaction. More to come on future live streaming events. That's not going to be a one-and-done deal. In the spirit of wrestling events, Chartmania was stemmed from the name WrestleMania. For those who couldn't I am the Crypto Bull God, right? I'm a persona all in myself. So I think having events that are themed from popular prior WWF or WCW wrestling events makes sense. So Chartmania will be an annual thing, but I'm sure I'll come up with some more creative names for more live streaming charting events. So thank you for everybody who participated in that. And one last thank you that I wanted to share with my audience and throw out there. I have one follower of mine who I engage with quite frequently, and it was honest to God, one of the nicest gestures that I can think in recent times. This individual reached out to me once he found out that I was a wine connoisseur. I've been a wine connoisseur for a long time. I love wines. And he wanted to personally thank me by sending me a very nice bottle of wine. And I can't tell you how appreciative I am. You know who you are. And I just thought it was the nicest thing. So, like I said to you, the Crypto Bull Goddess is coming for a visit this week. So I told her that we would pop the bottle open during her visit. So just wanted to thank you again. Just really, it's for me personally, it's so nice to hear that entertainment value aside, just the educational knowledge that I'm looking to share with you guys, that you really do appreciate it. Like I said, I've always at heart been, have had the mindset of a teaching mindset. I love to take concepts and explain them in a way that you can relate to, where once you didn't understand something, boom, a light bulb goes off and it clicks and you understand it. There's just it's one of the most gratifying feelings that I know in my life. I used to do a lot of tutoring back in the day in math, chemistry, biology, accounting, but mainly mathematics. And so I just know that feeling of being able to explain things to people and where once they didn't understand it, they now do. It's such an awesome feeling. So it's nice to hear that I'm helping some of you out, hopefully all of you out, in understanding this market more. And this is what I'm going to be looking to do increasingly. More to come on that, increasingly, on an ongoing basis here, just putting out more content to help everybody out. So again, thank you to who you are for sending me that personal gift. It was extremely kind of you. Speaking of my followers, one thing I was reminded of today, I thought I'd bring out on a sort of humorous note, is I was listening to those of you who don't know. I think most of you follow me on Twitter, but I've mentioned to you that I'm a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. One of the ways I stay, because I'm down here in South Florida, one of the ways that I stay very engaged with the sports community is I tune into, I brought up the radio app before on here. I forget now what it's called, Odyssey app. It always freezes up on my freaking iPhone, and it's always frustrating. But anyway, so many glitches with that phone app. But anyway, I tune into 94 WIP, and I was reminded today, Philadelphia sports fans, they're very passionate fans. They're very emotional. They're very knowledgeable, a very educated base, but they're also very emotional, and sometimes, they can go a little too far with some things. And I was listening to some guy on the radio today, a caller came in, and he totally misquoted and misrepresented some statements that another talk show host earlier in the morning made. And I was actually thinking of some people who comment and follow me, and they misquote me on different things. And I think to myself, is it just because they're overly emotional and hyped up, and then they use the wrong word choices, or did they really listen to what I said? So I've just learned that when that stuff happens, unless if it's what I would view material, I just let it go. And if people want to misquote me, they misquote me. But for those who really are in tune with the word choices I use, you know what's going on. You know the statements I've made, but and I don't think it's intentional either. I don't mean to say that. I don't think people come out and misquote me. Sometimes it's been in saltiness. Sometimes it's been in saltiness, which is a high state of emotion, and sometimes it's been in a state of euphoria, which is also a high state of emotion. And I think for the most part, I think it's probably very unintentional, but it's still frustrating when somebody misquotes you and you see words out there that don't accurately represent statements that you've made. But just a thought. I was just listening to sports radio today and thinking about that. So let's talk about the market, right? So the title of this podcast is Volatility for a reason. We've seen a lot of volatility over these past 2 days. And what I've tried to do with what time that I've had available, is I've tried to share quick updates on Twitter. And this is why it's important to follow me on Twitter, by the way, if you're not. And even if you're not a technical analysis guru, I still provide updates that aren't super technical in detail. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like even if you're not really good at reading charts, you can still understand for the most part what I'm saying. Some of the things, if you're not understanding what I'm saying, interact with me and I can explain. But I've tried to provide quick updates just to put people's minds at ease that nothing about the current price action is making me feel any differently over previously made statements regarding this not being a cycle top and regarding the timing of when my main thesis in terms of when we can expect a euphoric blow off top. One of the main charts that I tweeted about today, something to keep an eye on, is the Bitcoin 12-hour chart. So I tweeted out today that, in my prior TA video from back in August, I spoke to the fact that the most important thing high level, is to keep building those higher highs and higher lows, right? And what I stated at that time was Bitcoin could even come down all the way to this 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour chart. I've spoken many, many times to the significance of the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour chart. I said, look, we could come all the way down to that level. We could wick, because what are price wicks? Price wicks is an expression of volatility. The candle body close is not actually occurring within the price wick. The price wick just expresses the price movement. What we don't want to see on a 12-hour chart is for the body of candles begin to close below the 200 simple moving average. That would be a very big red flag to me, very big red flag. So we have seen now 2 candlesticks wick below the 200 SMA on the 12-hour, but have since recovered in price. And right now, as I'm recording, we're sitting at 41,500. I had to really quickly tweet out before I started recording here that for anyone who was ready to jump off a ledge, I also tweeted out a 30-minute chart, and I could see some bullish divergence building on the RSI. I saw a massive volume coming in on the most recent 30-minute candlestick, and it was printing a reversal candlestick pattern. So I just, I'm doing my part to try to keep those who follow me and value my opinion updated in terms of what I'm seeing. But there isn't anything that's overly alarming to me now in remaining unbiased, whether I have, regarding a bullish or bearish narrative. I will say this. Since we topped out on the 7th of September, we hit a high of essentially 53,000. We have since created a low, a lower high, and now a lower low. So in order to turn this trend around, what we need to do is begin to build those higher highs and higher lows. Ultimately, the price level, what you want to look for now, what you want to key in on, going into October, really what we want to see is ultimately to begin creating new higher highs and higher lows, we need to get above approximately 48,800. So we need to start getting towards $49,000 to begin to invalidate the higher highs and higher lows. Once we get up to 49,000, then it's all about clearing that highest high since this trend reversal, which would be, we're going to call it 53,000. So once we clear and get to 49,000, the next level to watch is 53,000. After 53,000, it looks like I have a major area of resistance around, it's in between 58 and 59,000. 58,600 is what I have drawn. So right in between 58 and 59,000. There is not anything that is overly alarming to me right now, okay? The other thing to keep in mind that I also tweeted out, if you look at the month of September, and you look at 2017, which, by the way, 2017 was the major blow off top, right? That was the last time we had our 4-year cycle play out where Bitcoin topped in December of 2017 and it blew up almost to $20,000. Well, in September, we had a very large, let me actually go to that chart super quick here. We had a red candlestick for the month, but there was a very long wick there. Just to give you an idea of volatility at that point, September open, check this out. September opened at 4,000. I'm going to round the numbers here, okay? September opened up at 4,700. It went as low as $2,900. And it then closed at $4,300. Okay, that is volatility. But it was a red month. 2018, red September. 2019, red September. 2020 September, you want to take a guess? Red month. So right now, what I want to see, the main area I'm looking for this month, what would be nice to close at, the level that would be beautiful to close at, would be any area greater than or equal to $45,000. That's the area I personally am looking at. So we really want to see how this month closes out. You know, I've kind of gone back and forth in terms of when I think it makes the most sense to put out a TA video. I think the thing that makes the most sense, honestly, would be I'll update everybody on Twitter in terms of what I'm seeing on the price action. But I think in terms of putting out a TA video, I think it would make most sense to do it like the first week of October. Because then we get our September monthly close and we can evaluate where price action is at. Now, I have very, very good news. Historically, if you go back in time, just like we talked about September being a historically bearish month and having red candlesticks, October, November, and December, if you believe that we're in a bullish, a huge bull cycle here, which I do believe, you will see that October, November, and December historically have been epically green months. If we go back to 2017, what you will see is that we opened October, for instance, at $4,300, and we closed, we hit a high. We hit a high of our blow-off top near 20,000. So we went from, what was it again? We went from $4,300 all the way up to $20,000. So that was nearly a 5x, okay? 2018, not so much. I mean, that was our bearish descending triangle we were in. So October, November, and December were no good. If you go back to 2019, let's take a look at 19. 19, there was just price consolidation. There wasn't anything too much going on, an overall decrease in 2019. In 2020, October, November, and December were epically bullish months. We opened up October at 10,800, and we closed December. Well, we had a high of December, which was near the close of just over 29,000. We almost did a 3x. But the important thing to keep in mind is my bullish thesis, okay? My bullish thesis is that we're going to top out in the fourth quarter and we're going to see similar price action that we saw in 2017, where October, November, and December are going to be huge green candlestick months. Something else I wanted to comment on, and I've been very consistent about this. Nothing about what I've said about the following has changed. I feel extremely confident that we have not seen our euphoric top in the cryptocurrency market cycle, okay, in this cycle, this bull cycle. I forget what I projected, but somewhere around, I'm just going to use a round figure here, and I forget what I derived at some point in time, which I haven't looked at in a long time. I derived a total cryptocurrency market cycle top of around $10 trillion, okay? And we're nowhere near that right now. And I have a video out there, if you scroll through, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head what it is. This is actually really easy. The TA video that's out there from a couple months ago is why crypto has not topped. And what I did in there is I evaluated several independent data points, some of which were data science models. By the way, you can't tell right now, but there is one of these large flies buzzing around in my office here, and it's fucking maddening. Have you ever had that happen where, I mean, I work from home. I have a home office here, and one of these slow flies, the ones that just don't want to die, like you swat the thing, it's on the floor, it's twitching, you're like, oh, cool, I'll get a paper towel and pick it up, and then it disappears. Because the fucker's so big that it literally takes a Mack truck to kill that thing. It's buzzing around here, and it is so annoying right now. But hopefully you can't hear it. So anyway, let's move on. But that video, essentially what it was doing is I utilized several different empirical data points telling me and communicating to you that the total current crypto market cycle had not topped. We haven't seen our euphoric blow off top. There's other data science models out there, and I've contemplated kind of revisiting the same structure of that video with an update and utilizing even more data points just to further clarify, communicate, convey. How many other words can I come up with? Indicate, tell a story, paint a picture that we haven't topped. And so I want to make a distinction here on something because this is very important. As much as I feel like I've clearly communicated this before, I want to take a moment to clearly communicate the following. There are two separate distinctions here regarding the cryptocurrency market cycle, Bitcoin market cycle, the cryptocurrency market cycle. There are two questions. Have we topped, and when will we top? Question number one, have we topped? I am beyond confident that we have not topped. Meaning, but what does that actually mean? That means I am extremely confident we're not entering this massive bear market where prices are going to be suppressed for some time, and we're not going to come out of this thing till like 2023. That's not what I'm talking. Okay, or that is what I'm talking about, but that's not what I believe whatsoever. I feel uber confident on that. Let's talk about the second question. When will we top? Well, this is one that I feel less confident with, but that I have a thesis, a main thesis to, which is that we're topping in the fourth quarter. And where I lean on that is November, December, and we'll have to see. I mean, I think the way September closes will tell us a lot. And I think by the time we get to October, I'll feel much more convicted in terms of, number one, do I still feel like we're topping in the fourth quarter? And number two, well, if we're still topping in the fourth quarter, what do you think, November or December? Because you've already ruled out October CBG. So I'm leaning November, December. I have starting to pull more towards December here, but I still think the middle to late November is a possibility for Bitcoin to top. Okay, but it's important to understand that for me, timing is the hardest thing, right? But what I've said is the worst case scenario to me. The worst case scenario to me, understanding that I feel uber confident we have not topped and we have not experienced true market euphoria. The worst case scenario is we top within the first half of 2022. That's the worst case scenario. And I'd say really out till July. So that's kind of what I have in my head. So January to July, which is technically more than the first half of 2022. But that's the worst case scenario to me. But I want you to really think about what that means. Think about this. If based on all your education and homework, okay, imagine you're me for a minute, okay? Imagine you're a data scientist who's poured literally thousands of hours into this stuff over the past 4 years. 4 years, okay? You feel convicted at this point based on all of the research you've done and based on your analytical ability as an actuary who's conservative in nature. You do data validations, reasonability checks, you look at so many different data sources, you feel solid that there's no way that we've topped in this cycle. And the only question is when. And you literally think to yourself, okay, so there's a generational wealth transfer opportunity that's taking place, literally, that we're in the middle of right now. And the maximal point of that generational wealth transfer opportunity, at least in this cycle, has not even taken place yet. And it's just a matter of, well, is it going to be November, December, or could it be as late as July of next year? I mean, think about that for a second. That's a pretty fucking good position to be in if you feel that confident that you're making life-changing financial wealth for yourself, and it's just a matter of timing and being off by, a few months. So again, I stand by what I've said. Okay, number one, has the cryptocurrency market topped in this cycle? No, we have not experienced true euphoria. We have not topped. 2, when will we top? My main thesis is that we are topping in the fourth quarter of this year, specifically November, December. Worst case scenario is we top in the first half, technically by July of 2022. Okay, so that's what I really want you to hone in on. And the other thing I should quickly mention too is all these tops I'm talking about is Bitcoin, right? So one of the questions you might naturally be asking yourself is, well, CBG, what about other cryptos like HBAR, XRP, Chainlink, Uniswap? Like what are the holy crypto Trinity, One and Mana? When will they top? Well, they'll top around the same time. I mean, historically, what you see is you see a lot of cryptocurrencies top right around when Bitcoin tops, or you see them lag the price within Bitcoin and then top after. So it would be right around the same time frame, right? So within a couple weeks. So that's what I would say in terms of what I see within the price action and topping within this cycle. And, other points, some of these I'm going to hammer home on more so as we go along here. But I'm seeing 2 people holding hands walking outside. That's so cute. It makes me think of the crypto bull goddess. So something else that, I'll continue to hammer home on, especially the further out we get here, and that is just taking advantage of these cycles. I do view, and we'll talk about this at a later time. Now is not the time because we want to focus on maximizing our potential within the top of this euphoric end of the cycle. But yes, my view, based on the data that is available to me as an unbiased data statistician, is we are going to enter another euphoric blow-off top, and prices are going to come down substantially with what we've seen historically before. I can't share something with you. I can't formulate. Here's the thing: as an actuary, as a data scientist, I can't formulate something that the data isn't telling me. Does that make sense? Meaning, let me restate that differently. If the data is telling me something, I have to listen to it until proven otherwise. Stated differently, if historically what we've seen are blow-off tops and then massive corrections, until we do something differently, okay, history is going to repeat. So what I fully expect, meaning, is we're going to enter this euphoric top. This is what I'm honed in on. This is what Minishift, I don't think Minishift gets any of this stuff. Like when I share this stuff with him, like I just don't, for whatever reason, the dude's real smart, but I don't think he really I don't really think he gets it. What I've tried to communicate is I, like many other smart people on Twitter that I follow, am evaluating price patterns and data to tell me that price is going to go really high, and as it starts to go really high, I'm going to sell out and make a fuck ton of money, okay? And then I'm going to wait for prices to become very depressed, and this cycle is going to play out again very similarly, and I'm just going to buy in when the prices are really depressed, right? I'm not buying this stuff and holding it for 10 years. Do I think that there's a crap ton of value 10 years from now? Of course. Like, this stuff is, I've gone on. Listen to the CryptoBroz podcast, okay? Clearly, this is a huge passion of mine that is overtaking my life, and I feel like it's going to be interwoven in our everyday lives without us even realizing it. It doesn't mean, however, from a technical perspective, I'm not going to utilize my knowledge as a technician to benefit me to scale out during euphoria and then scale back in during depression, right? So that's what I'm trying to prepare you guys for. I'm just being honest with what I see with the data. But the crypto bear market is definitely a discussion for another day. Right now, we're honed in on. Wow, what was that? Right now, we're honed in on crypto euphoria, which I believe is going to occur in this fourth quarter. So let's see how September closes, and we'll, come back to it within a technical analysis of video at that time, kind of exploring the potentials for October, November, and December. Speaking of potential, I don't know what it is about these South Florida drivers, and I feel like I've shared this with you guys before, but drivers in South Florida in general are not good. Okay, just not good drivers, right? No turn signals, going in and out of lanes, you need, if you live in South Florida, you need a horn. You need a horn that works in your car. I'm actually thinking of the Crypto Bull Goddess right now, because right now her horn does not work. We need to get that fixed for you. We need to make that a priority. She doesn't live in South Florida. She lives further north, but still, it is very important to have a horn that works down here. And the reason I'm bringing up drivers is, when I was driving into the gym this morning, it was raining really bad. Something happens in this. I think this maybe happens in general, but drivers get even worse, like marginally worse, when it rains outside. It's like you have drivers who either drive there is no in between, by the way. You have drivers who either drive 5 miles per hour and are overly conservative, like the technicians in the Bitcoin space who say that we're not going to break our all-time high this year. Or you have people who are overly aggressive and are driving way faster than they should, because let me tell you, and by the way, that's like the Bitcoin maximalist saying we're going in a super cycle peaking at $500,000. Or you have people who are overly aggressive and they're flying really fast, faster than they should be. And what you don't realize is Florida is very flat, okay? There's not a lot of hills, peaks, and valleys. So when all of a sudden we get massive downpours, okay, because it's not unlike Florida to get a sudden massive downpour for 20 minutes and then stop, shit floods, all right? So what that means when you're driving is you have to be very aware of this, that all of a sudden you could be driving on a road, very flat, and the sewer systems and all this shit, I don't know, I'm not a sewer person, road person to talk to this, but they don't have the shit designed right, so the roads flood. So all of a sudden you're driving, everything's going fine. The speed limit's maybe 40 miles an hour. Maybe you're doing 35, right? It's 40, you're doing 35. It's raining a decent amount. You're doing 35. You're going like 12.5% under the speed limit. Not that I'm a mathematician and calculated that just now in my head, but you're going 12.5% under the speed limit, 35 and a 40. And all of a sudden there's about a foot of water in the middle of the road that you're about to drive over. You're going to either flood the bottom of your car, or you're going to hydroplane and cause a massive accident. So I don't know what it is. People just cannot drive in the rain. Like, the potential for drivers down here to increase the accuracy or ability for them to drive effectively is just not very high. I just, that's one thing. Like, someday, because I'm not going to live, here's the reality, like, I'm not going to live in South Florida for the rest of my life. When I do move out of South Florida someday, I am not going to miss the drivers one freaking bit. Not at all whatsoever. All right. Anyway, maybe you can relate to that just in general. Let's get into the chart of the week. So I was kind of torn here on the chart of the week. It's been a while since I've done this podcast, which, by the way, I'm excited to get back and get an episode out here. It's been forever. It does feel a little odd. The reason it feels a little odd is not because I haven't done this in a while. The reason it feels a little odd that I haven't, that I'm doing this podcast right now is because the last podcast I actually did was with my brother for CryptoBroz last week on Wednesday. And I feel a little lonely. I feel a little lonely without my brother. I feel a little lonely now. So, no pressure, Crypto Bringer. But you did say next Wednesday. So let's make that shit happen. So let's get into the chart of the week. I'm a little torn here. I would say I'm going to mention two charts, which I haven't done before, but, whatever. This is my podcast, so I can do whatever I want. The first chart I'm going to bring up is for all the H-bar bearings. H-bar went on a tear. It went on a tear, and I was smiling all the way. We opened the month of September. We opened at 25 cents, and we hit a high of nearly 60 cents, 59 cents, okay? Since then, we've corrected because Bitcoin took a shit, and the rest of the market has been shitting right now, but don't worry. Soon, Bitcoin's going to get high. It's gonna smoke some marijuana, and we're going to be going back higher. For those of you who don't get that reference, listen to CryptoBroz. So, I don't do marijuana. I've never done marijuana before. Because oftentimes marijuana can be a garden drug. Crypto bringer. So anyway, my chart of the week, my first chart of the week is actually H-bar, which hit a new all-time high. The thing I want you H-bar barians to keep in mind here, or you fans of the Holy Crypto Trinity, H-bar 1 and Mana, is that we didn't even meet the fib extension, the 1.618, which is the golden ratio, the 1.618 fib extension past our all-time high. I mean, our prior all-time high was 46 cents. All we did was go to 59 cents. This thing has so much higher to go, so don't be distraught by the price action you're seeing right now. The rest of the market is correcting. This is a massive opportunity to scale back in. Anything near 30 cents, if I had fiat, I would be buying the fuck out of. Just my own personal opinion, not financial advice. The second chart of the week's got to be Bitcoin. I've said this time and time again. I don't care what project you're into. You can be into whatever project you want, but what you have to understand, you're being very narrow-minded and ignorant if you don't understand this. Yes, I'm calling you narrow-minded, and yes, I'm calling you ignorant if you don't understand this. Bitcoin is the driver of value behind the entire cryptocurrency market space. Okay? Someday, I'm sure that will change. But right now, I'm giving you the motherfucking facts. All right? So we need to keep an eye on Bitcoin. That's the other chart of the week. This is the most important chart to be mindful of and to watch. I spoke a lot of this during this podcast, so I don't think we need to hit on that again. But those are the two charts of the week. H-bar, my fellow H-barbarians, and Bitcoin. So let's get into some Twitter questions. It looked like there were a few of them. The beauty about recording these podcasts, one of the beauties is, first off, it's a relaxed environment for me. I don't have to worry about video, which personally I kind of like to change up on the podcast over the TA videos with that. But secondly, I can pause this and you never know it. So that fly, I killed that. I killed that fly. I took it down, just like the crypto bull god and his fellow cryptomaniacs are going to take out the crypto bears. You feel me? You feel me? You got me? You feel me? All right. Let's get into the Twitter questions here. So there's a few of them, which I'm always happy to see. Can you talk about, this is coming from Cal, who was the first person to tweet me. Can you talk about your current thinking around exit strategy for crypto Trinity? Thanks. First off, look, if you're going to, it's a little pet peeve of mine. If you're going to quote the Trinity, you better get it right. It's the holy crypto Trinity. It's not the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity is religious, okay? Let's not get into Christianity, all right? We don't talk politics, we don't talk religion, all right? It's not the Holy Trinity. It's not the crypto Trinity. It's not the what did you call it? You call it the crypto. It's the Holy Crypto Trinity. HCT, the Holy Crypto Trinity. So, but thank you for your question. My exit strategy for the Holy Crypto Trinity is the same as any other project I'm invested in. What you need to do is you need to identify, as price action continues along here, you need to identify logical exit points. And then what you should do is you should begin scaling out portions of your investment. I don't think there's any wrongdoing in leaving a small portion once you've begun to scale out a large portion where you feel really comfortable with and letting a small percentage just ride. until it starts to decrease in value to a certain point. Of course, as a technician, I would use stop loss limits. But if you're not that technical, then I would just do it to a certain point until it starts to decrease in value beyond a certain point. You would sell for a small portion of your investment. But here's the most important thing that I'm trying to communicate here, if I'm making any sense. The most important point I'm trying to communicate here is not to pick a dollar value and just sell everything. That's the dumbest thing you could do. You need to identify logical areas where prices become quote-unquote expensive. And you just need to gradually scale out, and that's based on your risk tolerance level. It's personal to you. What I'm doing is I'm sharing my own personal view where I think is logical, reasonable, and possible for prices to go. So based on my information, if you value the information I provide to you, as well as your independent analysis and other data points, other technicians maybe that you look to, who you value, you come up with that information, and then you just scale out based on that. So that's what I would say. Very good question. I always love this. I always say no questions, no other questions at all, and then people chime in with questions. I love that. Okay, so this comes from Tech Dev. He says, "When moon, sir?" So if you are listening, by the way, let me just share with you. You know what? I'm going to be able to tell if you're listening to this right now because I want you to drop me a comment. Hopefully in the YouTube. I'd appreciate it because it helps the YouTube algorithm. Hey, I haven't mentioned that. Subscribe to the channel. Like this shit. Drop a comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and it helps old CBG out. So he's preventing more clickbait, I guess, out there by getting me promoting my stuff. So you're actually hearing logical and reasonable stuff. But anyway, Tech Dev, drop me a comment. Drop me a comment if you're actually listening right now. But I appreciate your technical analysis. I think the content that you put out there. By the way, if you're not giving this guy a follow, go give him a follow. He is at TechDev_52, and that's on Twitter. But anyway, this guy puts out good TA. I really appreciate his technical analysis. So, when moon, sir, I think based on your technical analysis and my view on things, I think we're very in line. So you've heard my commentary, you've seen my charts. I think you and I, sir, are very much in line. Next question. Oh boy. This is a long one. Master. I'm not your master. Don't call me master. I'm not your master. Mister. Maybe you meant mister. How low do you see H-bar going? BTC dominance is still far from 44%, so I think a bit lower for BTC. All right, I'm not poking fun at you. I just think grammatically maybe you're probably geographically located somewhere else, or just English might not be your primary language. So let me just read this to myself, and then I'll read it out. Hey, man, first off, cheers to you. Thank you for the question. I appreciate that, Miguel. Thank you very much. So as far as how low I see H-bar going, I kind of commented on that in Chartmania. So go check out Chartmania, which is live. Well, it's not live. What am I saying? That's a lie. It's not live. It was live. You can check out the video, though, and just fast forward to where I talk about H-bar. But in general, what you want to pay attention to when I talk about areas of support, resistance, all that stuff, pay attention to higher time frames with H-bar because it's a more volatile asset because it has a lower market cap. So I zoom out and look at the weekly. You know what? Real quick, let me look at it for you since you asked the question. I appreciate it, Miguel. If I go to the weekly real quick, I have an area. So looking at the weekly, I have an area of support. I mean, it really looks like it's at about 36 to 37 cents. Let me see. Where's this close here? Hold on. Yeah. So I'm going to call it 36 cents. So this week, what I would pay attention to is I'd really like to see H-bar close at 36 cents. If we lose 36 cents, then I don't want to see us. Actually, I don't want to see us close below where we're at right now. We're at about 31 cents. I don't want to see us close below like 31 cents. So let's see where we're at the end of the week. That's what I would say about HBAR. And then in terms of I'm not sure how much lower for BTC. So let me just comment on how much lower for BTC. I kind of commented on it already. I said I put out something on Twitter on the smaller time frames. I was seeing some bullish divergence on the RSI. I'm expecting that if the bottom is not in today, it looks like we hit 39,600. If 39,600 was not our low, which I suspect it is, I don't think we have much lower to go than 39,600. I mean, I view this as a massive buying opportunity. That's what I view it as. All right, let's get to the next question. It's another HBAR question. So, again, this person's more commenting on the volatility for today. We lost 30 cents and went to 29. I mean, again, price wicks or volatility. If I go to the daily, we wicked all the way down to the 50 simple moving average on the daily, and we went all the way down to 28.8 cents, or actually it looks a little lower than that. We went to 28.7 cents, okay? But pay less attention to the price wicks. Pay more attention to where we've closed. Now, we've seen a lot of red candles on HBAR lately, and it's corrected a lot more over some of the other projects. But why do you think that is? Take a moment. Why do you think HBAR has seen a more significant correction in price than the other projects? Okay, the reason is because we had such a massive run up in September, whereas other projects did not see that. So intuitively, it makes sense that we've just seen a larger correction. It's nothing alarming to me. I'm not surprised, shocked, or worried about it. Actually, I think that's it for Twitter questions. So thank you for the questions. Thank you for the questions this week. Thank you for tuning in. If you could, please like the podcast to ensure I'm going to continue producing this content moving forward. Drop a comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Give my brother a follow at CryptoBringer. Check out the CryptoBroz Podcast. And in closing, as CryptoBringer loves to hear at the end of these podcasts, please join me in a moment of silencio for all of those I attempted on multiple occasiones. I don't think that's an actual word. For all of those I attempted on multiple occasions to get into crypto and have remained ignorant. Thank you.